Hetalia.
Opening Hetalia. Hey guys, everybody, what's your name? Clyde. Round of applause for Clyde. He's holding this cord in place because it's super sensitive. All right, all my Hetalia cosplayers, raise your hands.
Yay.
You guys are like, yeah, I dress as Hetalia. I don't have any money. Wearing a suit and button down. Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Austria. Hi, Austria. How many of you are under the age of 13? You can be honest, it's fine. You don't look a day over 25, man. How many of you are under the age of 13 or 13 or below? Okay, I'm gonna keep this for you guys. I'm not gonna. My Prussia, who's normally here, likes to use bad words, but I'm not gonna let Prussia do that, as I'm sure you all know. Anyway, so this is History Through Hetalia. This is. I'm like not setting it down in front of the projector. I have these little outlines, but there's way too many of you for all of you to have one. So if you guys just wanna, just gonna randomly disperse these. Of course, I didn't use one. And just pass this around. Every other row will get one. Sorry, don't. All right. So I'm just a bit about myself before we start. I'm in the Hetalia fandom since I was 13, and let me tell you, I was a mess. A mess. I made this post on Tumblr that was like, me in 2011. OMG, that sheet music is probably written by Mr. Austria, LOL. And then me in 2013, I was really messed up as a kid. I related everything to Hetalia. And now here I am, dressed as Austria, and I'm like, that dog is playing a piano on the internet. It's probably Austria's dog, LOL. So yeah, we're all a little, it's okay to have fun and be immature, but hopefully, we're gonna teach you guys how to be better Hetalia fandom members. Because as you know, this fandom does a lot of stupid things and gets a lot of hate. Raise your hand if you've ever done something stupid in this fandom. See, it's okay. This is a support group. We've all messed up. We were all dumb children. So anyway, I have this handy dandy outline because this is a history class and I'm a nerd. Purpose of this presentation, I'm a nerd and thank you.
I'm here.
As well. So we're gonna. I hate it when I see like OCs or something that are just like, why did you do that? You ever just see something from the fandom and you're like, yeah, me every day on Tumblr. So we're gonna. My goal is to create a fan base that's better informed, to make sure that everything is historically accurate, if not canonically accurate, if not, at least you're not offensive, right? So we're going to start off by talking about terminology in the fandom and in the canon universe of Hetalia. This is going to go super fast. We've only got an hour. So height. Height is very iffy because like sometimes it's judged on like the country's average height. The average male in Austria is 5'11". However, he's much shorter than Germany, who is like 6'2" or something. I don't know. So it's always based on, this Germany's super tall. Stand up. Look how tall he is. I'm 5'3". Sorry. Thank you, Germany. Thank you. So it's determined by the size of the country, how wealthy the country is, which is why Switzerland is like taller than Liechtenstein, but Liechtenstein's also really small. But like baby America, as we see in the anime, was super, super strong and powerful. It could like, he was like swinging a buffalo or something. But it's like England was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you can do that. And yeah. Next, I believe. Newborn countries are always children. Yeah. Also, independence might have something to do with how tall you are. For example, Romano and Italy are both still pretty short, even though it's a pretty wealthy and powerful country in Europe. LOL. But, like, Liechtenstein, perhaps she would be taller because she's so rich. She's like the wealthiest country in the world, but she's super short because she depends on Switzerland for everything. God bless her. She's so cute. All right, so pain. We talk about pain. Pain is a very sensitive topic, so I'm going to gloss over it a little bit. It's a power struggle or a natural disaster can be represented through pain in this extended metaphor of a universe that we have. For example, there's this part in the anime where Russia gets a curse, but then Russia like just passes it on to Japan. I don't know. Okay, I didn't write it. Japan has like a stomach ache, and that is supposed to be the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923. So you can imagine that America has had a lot of pain from, earthquakes, tornadoes here in the Midwest. Is this the Midwest?
Yes.
Sean Astin asked this at Comic-Con. He's like, am I in the Midwest or am I in the South or the West? I don't know.
Midwest.
And I was just like, it's the Midwest.
Oh.
Someone told him, like, we serve sweet tea here, so this is the South. And I'm like, sounds fake, but okay. The boss. Let's talk about the boss. Okay, guys, this is not my artwork. This is by CTC Sherry on DeviantArt and Tumblr. Holy crap. This is amazing. So we're just going to talk about the boss. We all know what the boss is. Some examples are Old Fritz, Maria Theresa, George Washington, even though he's never in canon. We see the Queen of England several times. A boss is a political leader of a country. But, like, for some reason, China's boss is portrayed as a dragon, which could represent, it's like, this represents the Communist Party. And I'm like, that's okay, whatever. I think the next one's just more pictures of bosses, maybe. Sorry. Yeah, I just love this fan art. Sorry, I just had to put that in there. All right, let's do the next one. So illness. We all know that part where like England gets sick and America's like, "What's wrong with you, dude?" And he's like, "Ugh," and England's like, and he puts a hamburger on his face. Yes, that's me right there. So an intense political situation, an economic recession, for example. So America is just getting over a nasty cold. Yay, America! What else did I put in here? I like included so much detail. There's this saying that's like, when Germany sneezes, Europe catches a cold. And you can go into a lot of politics and debate about that, but the reason is Germany is kind of like the economic powerhouse of Europe and has all the money. So whenever Germany is like, oh, we have a like minuscule recession, Greece is just like falls over dead. So not really, but basically, you get the point. Next. Think friends. All right, raise your hand if you're Hetalia best cosplayer. Wait.
What?
Raise your hand if your best friend will cosplay Hetalia with you.
Nope.
This is Sarah. She's my best friend.
Hey.
See, yeah, you need best friends. Nations have best friends too. They're represented through like alliances, like Poland and Lithuania in the 1400s or whenever that was. 1600s? I don't remember. Greece and Japan have an alliance, America and Japan, and of course, Germany and Italy as an alliance. Aww. Thanks for holding the cord. You can go now. No, okay. Kidding. What's next? Roommate. Roommates are next. A roommate, as defined by the Hetalia Wikipedia page, which I spent way too long on for doing this, a nation having been annexed or put under control of another in some fashion, which arguably is just like, is this not a marriage? Prussia! That was really delayed. That was delayed. So, for example, yeah, thank you, Prussia. I appreciate it. So, some examples of a roommate are the Austrian Anschluss in 1938, whenever Germany was like, buddy! Hey, and Austria was like, whatever. Just let me play the piano and go away. So Austria goes to live with Germany. Russia has all of these other Soviet states living with him, Ukraine, Belarus, all the stands, and of course the Baltics. And even like Finland and Poland were part of that at some point, so like they were all living together. That just sounds like a really bad reality TV show to me. Jersey Shore, USSR. I would watch that. Not even kidding. Or like, for example, like Hetalia moving in with Austria, Hungary, and Holy Rome, like it was his house, but Austria was like in charge of it. I don't know. I assume that's like Holy Rome like bought the house and Austria like signed on to the mortgage. I don't know. Or Prussia, as we all like to say, living in Germany's basement, which is true. Or okay, I don't know how much of y'all, jeez, I'm not in character, but don't worry. I don't know how many of y'all like know about like in 1940 or 1848, Germany and Prussia merged to become one country, which you could say like that was a marriage, or it's a roommate. We don't really know. We just know that a politician, I believe it was Bismarck, was like, this is the marriage of old Prussia and new Germany, and I'm like, marriage? That's a lot of commitment. Or like, as for like no reason, Lithuania's living with America during those storage cleaning episodes. That was a mess. That's because like a lot of migrant workers from Lithuania were like, we need jobs, and America was like, serve me coffee, and they were like, okay. Just like that, in that language too. No accents or anything. Marriage. Marriage is two nations becoming one nation. Most famously, Austria and Hungary became the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That was a bad idea from the start. Hungary, you're beautiful, but gosh, you're a mess to live with. That was an in-character joke. Never mind. All right. A political agreement, for example, France agreed to have England's queen as his queen for like a short period of time because France had no money. That's not a good way to get married, kids. Officially recognize the British monarchy, kind of like Canada officially recognizes the British monarchy. That's why the British Queen is on their coins. Sweden and Finland were just like, hey, we're going to go away from Denmark. And then Sweden was like, my wife. And Finland was like, ah. And so, yeah. They were like married because they were one kingdom at one point, which means that Denmark, Norway, and Sweden and Finland were all living as husbands? I guess polyamory is fine. And Czechoslovakia, probably, as the characters have just been introduced and we still don't know. I'm going to brag a little bit here. I've been in this fandom so long that I had a Slovakia and Czech Republic original character before Himaruya created one. Okay. I was a mess, guys. Marriage is also between leaders of families, so like Poland and Lithuania, their king and queen got married, and then Poland and Lithuania were like, I guess we're married now. Austro-Hungarian Empire, Austria and Spain, which is like a very, unfortunately, I kind of like the ship a little bit. Austria and Spain were married under the Habsburg family rule because Charles of the Holy Roman Empire, when he died, he was like, here, brother, you can have Austria, and here, my son, you can have Spain. And then they were like, what are we? You know? Yeah. Unofficial marriages is a very interesting and wide topic. Austria and Switzerland, their leaders were married for a long time, and then they got mad because they were like, we're still two separate countries, and the king was like, nah, and then they were like, oh, bye. Just like that, actually, in that language, in those accents. Okay. The Italian brothers is a political marriage. I don't know. And then Prussia and Germany, of course, etc., etc. Am I missing any marriages? Whatever. All right, so now we're going to talk about death. Yes. Death and disappearing. This means a country is no longer on the map. So Prussia, you're like dead. We'll get to that later. Sucks a sack. No. Owned. Who has Silesia now? Poland does.
No, it's still.
Oh. Listen, buddy. All right. So, for example, Prussia, Himaruya has said Prussia is not East Germany during the Berlin Wall years, but Prussia's totally East Germany. You don't have to accept it. When the culture disappears, the country must gradually disappear or entrust themselves to the next country. So, Himaruya was recently asked, as we'll talk about later, like, is Prussia dying? And he said, yes. And Prussia is just happy to know that his awesomeness will live on in his brother. I know! I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't do this to Austria! They love each other! Anyway. Or, there's like this country that apparently Himaruya made it a thing for. It was a micronation called the Nico Republic. What? I don't know. Apparently that exists, but that country is no longer existent. So what Himaruya did is the Nico Republic has lived on as a citizen of another country. So Prussia, when you finally die, you can just live as a German citizen and then live out the rest of your normal human life until you grow old and you're actually supposed to have white hair. See you in the back, other Prussia. You're like a little salty about that. Don't be. Family. Next is family. So ancient countries are very ambiguous because they're so huge and there's like so many cultures inside of them. Like all of Germania, there were so many different types of Germanic peoples, but apparently Germania is one big Legolas type person. That's funny if you know what Germania looks like. Okay, however, Himaruya doesn't like always get the, in my opinion, does not always get the family tree correct, if you will. So like Germania is the grandfather of Germany and Holy Rome, but is the father of Prussia, but Prussia and Germany are brothers. And if you know that song, I'm My Own Grandpa. If you don't, you're too big, kids. Excuse me. Greece refers to ancient Greece as his mother. So where are these other mothers? Other mothers. Haha, Coraline reference. Yeah. So there's no clarification because like England at one point is like, America's like, dude, those scones you gave me tasted like petrified couch stuffing. And England's like, that's a recipe from my mummy. Like, who's his mom? Who taught you how to make scones? And why exactly? Gosh, was she okay? So who is England's mom? Who is Italy's mom? Who's Renato's mom? Who's Austria's mom? We'll get to that later. I think the next one is about fan-created. Okay, well, there's fan-created ancients, and they're very interesting. I suggest you all go look them up, but we don't have time to talk about them right now. So, brothers and cousins. Sometimes America calls England his cousin, and sometimes he calls him his brother, which further invalidates UK. Oh, hate that ship. I'm sorry. It's just so weird. Anyway, so Germany and Prussia, Italy and Romano, and Norway and Iceland are some of the only like official brothers in the whole thing, because we don't know about the rest of them. I'm sure they're all related somehow, so all your ships are actually incestuous. Sorry about that. Hey, consent is all that matters, right?
No.
You're just like, no.
No, that's disgusting.
Yeah, so England refers to America as his cousin, but also his brother. It's different in the dub and the sub. The dub's not really canon, but also kind of is, because everybody... Anyway. It's only canon because we accepted it as canon. No. It's kind of like... Never mind.
No.
We're not going to get into psychological principles right now. So France and England refer to America and Canada as their little brothers. Are they adopted or is this legit? Because France looks an awful lot like Canada. And America looks an awful lot like Sweden. So that's also like partially the art style. Next one. Awkward subject. Do nations reproduce like normal people? And if so, like, don't we need like girls to do that? I don't know. I'm not gonna be the one that gives you kids the talk, but yes.
You definitely said PG-13.
PG, guys. PG. We'll get to that later. So Finland and Sweden are the ones who discovered America. So like, and people are like, well, Sweden landed in the Americas long before Christopher Columbus in 1492. Oh, I hate that guy. Yeah. Anyway, so Sweden and Finland. Sweden and Finland discover America, so like Sweden's the dad because the Vikings, and Finland wasn't a Viking. So who's the mom? We'll get to that later. The nations are produced like normal people. Why are there so many boys? Here is a list of all of the female characters in Hetalia. Hungary, Liechtenstein, Ukraine, Belarus, Belgium, Czech Republic, Seychelles, Vietnam, Taiwan, Monaco, and ancient Egypt. That's it. Like, and then there's like 100 boys. So I don't know if y'all have seen Maze Runner, but is that the right thing? Where there's like only boys and then there's like one girl, and then everyone's like, wouldn't the boys like and I'm like, let's not talk about it. Can we make a Hetalia family tree? Believe me, I've tried. There are too many missing links without using original characters or just like ambiguous, genderless characters that don't exist and are just gray blobs, kind of like the Netherlands was in that one episode for a long time. Anyway, so yeah, we cannot really make a Hetalia family tree. I have tried. I had no friends in like 9th grade. Kind of, Sarah. You thought it was annoying.
Hello.
I was annoying, so.
Hello.
No, don't. I was like, okay. What? Oh, sorry. Okay, kids, let me just tell you. If you're like referring to your friends as Hetalia characters, like I was Austria when I was like in 8th grade, and then our friend Nicole was Russia, and you were China.
Yeah,
but okay. I love you guys, but stop. You just make yourselves look stupid. I was stupid. Nobody would like talk to me sophomore year after I was over that phase, because I was kind of a freak show.
It was rough.
Anyway, so stop, please. Just I love all of you. I'm just letting you know right now. You're gonna regret it. Senior year, in the yearbook, whenever this person who was in your freshman Spanish class was like, "Have a great college life, Austria." And you're like, "Thanks, Denmark." That is a true story. Next, we're going to talk about inaccuracies in Hetalia. We all know Hetalia is not a substitute for a history textbook. Please don't use it to study. Dear God.
It's like a Wikipedia.
You will not get anything about anything correct. All right? So, first of all, the 7 Years' War and the French and Indian War are very glossed over in Hetalia. There's actually like a whole series of wars going on at the same time, and we're not going to get into that because it was a freaking mess. But Hetalia is just like, oh, England and Spain were fighting. And England and France are also fighting as normal, and some stuff happened. French and Indian War, everybody. The Austrian Anschluss, this is another inaccurate part because in the... Thank you. Wait, we started at 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm making great time. Okay, so Austria in the episode where it's Germany's like, "Austria, you're going to move in with me," and Italy is like, "No, don't do it, Mr. Austria," and then Hungary is like, "Mr. Austria, you cannot," and then Austria is just like, whatever. That's not really how that happened. The Nazis like marched into Vienna, and then all the Austrians were like, "The hills are alive with the sound of Nazis." So, no. That's not how it went. Austria did not really want Germany in there because they had just, this was 20 years after World War I ended. Their whole empire had just been crushed, and they were just like, fine, we're just going to live as your cute little mountain neighbor country. No. We don't want you in here, Germany. And Germany was like, so we're not going to get into World War II. But it's basically like the episode about the Anschluss is like, don't use it to study, kids. There's so many inaccuracies. We can all debate them later, but we're just going to move on because there's too many. Already talked about that. Whoops. That's okay. Characterization. If America's based on stereotypes, then why isn't America fat? Oh my God, Becky, you can't just ask people why they're not fat. Sorry. Anyway, I put that in at midnight last night, and Sarah was like, "What are you doing with that picture of England?" And I'm like, "Making a meme." Just give me a moment to meme out for just a second. So I think this all comes down, why isn't America fat? Because America, we're just like, oh yeah, we're a bunch of gun-toting fat Americans. I don't know why we do this, but we do.
That's good.
And it all comes down to Japanese stereotypes versus Western stereotypes. That's why Russia doesn't necessarily carry a bottle of vodka in the back of his pocket. And why I saw like some guy's like really hateful review of Hetalia, and I'm like, yeah, Hetalia sucks, but I love it. And he was like, why doesn't Russia wear one of those furry hats and carry a bottle of vodka in his pocket? I'm like, well, he could. But that's not what the Japanese think that Russia does. So that's, yeah, it all comes down to Himaruya is a Japanese person, and Japanese people have different ideas of stereotypes. Like, he heard a joke about an Austrian guy getting lost in his own store, and suddenly Austria is lost everywhere. Because he's like, there's like the Wanton Valentino episode, LOL. He was like, I'm going to go out and get Hungary a gift. But he didn't explicitly say Hungary, but we know it's Hungary. And Germany's like, okay, well, don't get lost, because I'm not coming to get you. And then Austria's like, well, I'm just not going to leave then. And he's like, you were planning to get lost? Yes, he was. But why? There's like, when we think of like Austrian stereotypes, I literally just think of Mozart. It was cool and all, but like that's it. That's all I got. So I kind of want Austria. Like if I had to redo Hetalia, I actually really like Austria's hair. He would wear a powdered wig sometimes. Where was I? So back to characterization. How do we develop a character? Next is the government versus the people. In the French Revolution, I really like Les Mis. I'm sorry. So if I start singing, just sing with me. I'm sorry. I'll end it. Where would France be on the side of the French Revolution? Would he just be like, listen, guys, stop. The government is a little corrupt, so you need to knock it off. Or would he be just like, do you hear the people sing? So, like I don't know. Where would France be? It's never talked about. Also, the Bolshevik Revolution and the Russian Revolution. Where would Russia? Yes.
I heard that France got his head cut off.
Ew.
As much as my inner Austria would secretly enjoy that. I don't think that's right. No, it's okay. But like the Bolshevik Revolution, where would Russia be? Would he be in the Winter Palace trying to get Anastasia's family out? And then like we all have that wonderful non-Disney princess movie. Oh, that's such a great movie though. Disney bought it. They're making a live-action remake.
Oh, yeah.
If that's not proof God is real, I don't know what is. So the Bolshevik Revolution, would he be the one like, would he be like with all the communists? Would he just be like, yes, Lenin? Or would he just be like, whoa, don't kill them? What did they do besides oppress you and keep all your money and eat off of gold plates while y'all are starving in the street? They didn't do anything to you. Anyway. And then the American Civil War, like you see like Southern America original characters all the time, like where would America be? Because it's like he had Texas at that point, and Texas represents his glasses or whatever. So it's like, would he just lose his glasses from 1861 to 1865? I don't know. It's never talked about. I don't know. Does America like need glasses? I thought people with glasses are supposed to be smart. Oh no, okay. So yes, as culture changes, how do the characters change? Because as we know, like America used to be an isolationist country until they were asked to be a mediator in like some war, and they were like, oh yeah, we can do that. And then America sat Russia and China down, and he's just like, guys, stop it. And they're like, wow, America, you can be a world power. That's how that went. Exactly. Or like in this comic, the Netherlands is talking to Japan. Japan was, as we know, an isolationist country until 1861. I'm talking too fast. 1861. And so, and Japan says, I'm sorry, I've become sensitive to the word open. And I see it like the Bad Touch Trio out there, and I'm just like, come to me. Because they're so good. Look at how well they're dressed. They can't see it. Okay, everybody, all right. We'll go chastise them later for not being here. So, yeah, the Monroe Doctrine is America had this Monroe Doctrine for a while, which means we're going to stay out of other people's freaking business. Especially Europe's, because we are done with that crap. What? Back to not messing with other people's business? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, a little bit. For example, the only reason we got involved in World War I was because Germany.
Alright.
Germany sank the Lusitania, killing like 100 people, and we're like kind of salty about that.
But also because we we were technically selling weapons to the
Yeah,
Europeans,
there's that. There's that.
So we weren't really out of it. We were just saying we were out of
Yeah.
it.
But wouldn't it be nice if we just stayed out of other people's business? My friend and I had like a 3-hour-long debate about like what would happen if Germany had won the First World War. We're not gonna get into that right now. Again, it was a 3-hour conversation. America's involvement in World War I arguably caused the war to end early because as soon as America officially got involved, England was like, "All right, America, send all of your troops to the trenches," and America's like, first of all, no. Second of all, no. Third of all, you've lost a lot of people doing that. Like literally, millions and millions of people died over like 5 miles of land, which is so dumb. Like, guys, I know, like, if I had been there, I would have been like a woman first of all, and then I would have been like not listened to because I'm only 18, and then they would have been like, this 18-year-old girl has nothing valuable to say, and I'm like, you're losing lives of millions of people. So, anyway, things I would do with the TARDIS, part 1. America caused the war to end early, arguably. Is this where his hero mentality comes from? Because he's like, listen to me in my total hero voice, guys. And so it's like, when did America suddenly become a hero? Because like when we see Chibi America, he was definitely not like that. I don't know. So I already talked about that. All right, before you go to the next slide, if you guys don't like seeing things that are, if you're sensitive, just don't look at the next slide, okay? You'll see it, okay? Sorry. All right. No, I'm gonna bring up some like legit stuff here. So, yeah. This is where the Hetalia fandom gets all its hates from. Feel the hates. Gets its hate from, and for a good reason. Yeah. What the heck, guys? I don't know who that Germany and Prussia are, but that's like a sacred site, and they should definitely not be there. I don't know what this fan art is of, but you guys should definitely not draw things like that. I didn't source this because I didn't want to bother with it. But I found, and then like, we don't joke about rape, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent for just 1 second. Don't joke about rape. Rape culture is a real thing. Don't joke about it, because I hate people who do that, and all you're doing is validating rapists. Yes?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you! Yeah. Christ. But anyway, yeah, don't do that. Hetalia is supposed to be funny and vaguely educational. It's not supposed to be like that. Okay? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the anime Boston incident of 2010, but it took place incidentally the same weekend as Passover, and a bunch of Hetalia cosplayers all got up in front of the steps and did this. Oh. Yeah, that was a real thing.
Wow.
Don't do stupid things like that, okay? Just shakes paper violently. Don't do it. For obvious reasons, and don't do that with your fan art. Also, if you have had the paper for a long time, pass it on to the next person, because I only have 6 copies. Limits of canon, meaning like what we can't portray. Next is who gets a character and who does not get a character. I'm going to carefully step over this. This is in season 5. This is a... Wow, my silhouette looks super cool. This is a... I'm not going to say this right because I don't French, but Picardy? Whatever. This is a region of France that apparently has its own character. Hong Kong and Macau are like little states in China that apparently get their own characters. They're like cities. Hong Kong is just a huge city that was under British control for a long time. And then of course we have all of these lovely Japanese prefectures. I was like, they're not states, what are they? Japanese prefectures all have their own characters. I don't know why. So like Prussia has come to represent Brandenburg. He's come to represent East Germany. He was the Teutonic Knights of the St. Maria Order. He was part of Prussia for a while. Like, what even is Prussia? Prussia. What even is Prussia? Awesome. Okay, sure. So does this mean that the American states could arguably get their own characters like you see on like those Facebook role plays from like 2011? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. I had one of those too. It was Oklahoma. Yeah.
Texas.
Hi, security? No, okay. Yeah, so like America's glasses represent Texas. So like, does Texas a person? Or is it just like these glasses, or they talk, do they have a personality? Is that why America's so crazy? The world will never know. Yeah. So who gets a character, what doesn't? We can't really have the solid answer. Yeah. Next is like, does Team Maria have enough characters for certain situations? So like this North and South during the Civil War of America, like, and then there's like the Spanish Civil War, and then there's all these civil wars that it's like there's one character, or they just having like inner conflict, like an angst thing. I don't know. And then of course East and West Germany. Are they like two different? I don't know. Is Prussia East Germany again? We don't know. Yes.
I once saw like a conflict. It was of the American Civil War and America arguing with his curls.
Headcanon accepted.
And his curls
Red?
went out. Oh. And I was like, what's going on?
Well, there you go. There's one option, everybody. So yeah, like, does Team Maria create enough characters for every situation? The answer is probably not. This is very vague. And next is all right. Now we're gonna talk about myths, because this is a big problem with Hetalia. Not like with the show or the anime or the manga or the webcomic or whatever. Not with itself, but like within the fandom. So what languages do they speak? Like in this episode, China is like, oh, I have baby Japan. He doesn't know how to write, so I'll just give him some characters, and then gets mad whenever Japan makes his own characters. So like, do they speak? But then they like, whenever they first meet, like, do they just both understand each other's languages? And then Icelandic, the character, whenever he goes other places, he like makes an effort to not speak his own language, because Icelandic is a nightmare. It's literally the hardest language to learn. Studies have shown. Very reliable sources on Wikipedia. Thank you. I'm glad you're here, man. One more round of applause for Clyde. Yeah, Clyde. Woo! All right. Floating. So yeah, there's been like, Himaruya is like, they all speak the same language. I'm like, what language is that? Can I learn it? My headcanon is that it's Tolkien Elvish. Before Tolkien was born, I don't know what they spoke. They just didn't talk to each other. It is harder for isolated. Okay, for isolated or new countries, it's really hard for them to understand the rest of us, because they're like, I don't understand your accent. I'm glad some of you left. So, like, do they all speak English, or do we go by, like, what's most popular in the UN, which would be, like, French or Mandarin? We don't know. That's not very interesting. So, next we're going to talk about Spain and France. I'm just going to briefly gloss over this. Spain and France are not rapists. Moving on!
Thank you. What?
Wait, one more. Spain and France are not rapists. That's it. Okay, so first of all, this is another thing you shouldn't do, fandom. You should not make an OC for Native America. That would be like Europe is one whole character. There's so many diverse languages, cultures, lifestyles within all of the six continents. I don't know, penguins can be in Hetalia too. I'm not judging. All within these continents where people live, there's so many diverse cultures. You can't just like group all of them together and dress her like Pocahontas, and she's like, look, this represents the Cherokee, the Navajo, the everybody. Like, it just can't be done. So don't do it. So people are like, who is America's parents? My theory is the Powhatan tribe in Virginia, which is where Pocahontas is from, Wengapo and all that. And Sweden, Vikings, and Native Americans. That's just my theory. You don't have to accept it, but it's correct. No, just kidding. So yeah. So I just found this like super racist OC, and I was just like, I'm just gonna slap that on there. Don't do that, please, dear God, don't do that. Next is, my favorite. Why is Austria the only Germanic who is not blonde? Let's look at the list. Oh wait, not yet. Hold on. Here's all the countries with German heritage that have been shown, like with color, so we know. Besides all of the states of Germany that all formed Germany and the Holy Rome. Germany, the Holy Roman Empire, Prussia. Prussia I know has white hair, but in earlier strips he had blonde hair and blue eyes. Switzerland, German, Holy Rome, Prussia, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, the Czech Republic, England, France, Sweden, Denmark, arguably Norway and Iceland, and Austria. Of those characters, Austria is the only one with dark hair. Why is this? So I'm going to bring my Munich major nonsense into this. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Mahler. He was a composer. He was awesome. Go listen to him. Have some culture in your lives. No, that was mostly a joke. Have some like high culture. You know, this is culture. Anyway, so Mahler was a man who converted to Catholicism to accept a job offer in Austria in the late 1800s. Mahler was a Jew. Austria is also very involved with music and has been confirmed as a Catholic. The highest percentage of religious people in Austria are Catholic. Also, let's look at his human name. His human name is, in English, Roderick Edelstein. Edelstein is a Jewish last name. Not like Bailschmidt, which isn't really a real last name, but it's Germanic and it's based off of Schmidt, which is Germanic, not Jewish Germanic. So, why is Austria the only non-blonde Germanic? He stands out like a sore thumb. There's a German family. There's like 3 pictures on this slide. There's Mahler, handsome fellow. Austria's Jewish. Headcanon for me. You don't have to accept it. It's fine if you don't. I was just throwing this in there because I was like, yes, they need to be informed of this idea. Yes, this is also why Germany did not like him very much in the strips that take place in the 40s. Yes. Yes, yes. It's not, I mean, I was just putting Mahler in there because he's a musician, Austria's a musician. Yes, it's a number of Austrian people who were like Jewish and they converted to Catholicism because they didn't want to get screwed over. Thank you, Sarah. It's a terrible, terrible time. I'm on the other side. Alright, now we're going to talk about Prussia, who's like one of my favorite characters. Dashing man. See you, Prussia. So we're going to talk about his relationship with Austria, which is like Prussia actually stalks Austria. They actually, like at one point Prussia gets hurt and Austria seems genuinely concerned about him. What's that about? They don't always fight. Sometimes they're allied together and they fight against Denmark. Yeah. And also, if you have a thing, read this with me. Watched Hungary and Austria together on Christmas Eve and cried. He says, I'm so happy. You probably can't read this in the back. I'm so happy being alone that I have tears welling in my eyes. And I'm absolutely not bitter at the sight of couples filling the street around me because clustering is for the weak. Look at that sissy aristocrat. And then Hungary is like, buy me this. And Austria's like, okay. I have lots of money. Next is his made you cry. His relationship with Germany is very interesting because he constantly is just like, my brother is so awesome. They work out together. Nice. Both of them have asked out Italy before. I don't know if you knew that, but Prussia did ask Italy out on a date, and Italy was like Italy is, so he has no idea. So it's like, they get drunk together, and Prussia's like, remember the time I asked you out on a date? And Italy's like, what? It's okay. Everything Germany knows, Prussia taught him. So you can blame everything that happened from Germany on Prussia. He's super smart, you guys. Prussia's like not, I hate when I'm reading fan fiction, and Prussia's like just the dumb jock. Prussia's like super intelligent. He like plays the flute. He is, as the Wikipedia says, he's the best engineer of all the Germans, and then in parentheses, Das Auto. He like knows when to send someone and be serious. He reads 4 books every day. I haven't read 4 books in like a year. I know. Okay, I just don't have time to read anymore. I mean, I like read my $400 music theory textbook.
You got the Dan and Phil book.
I read the Dan and Phil book. And also, he's super, super neat. I don't know if I have a picture of that. I don't think I do. Okay, we'll get to that. Prussia's super neat and tidy, just like Germany. Like, there's a part in the new season that just, like, season 5 or 6, where they're like, oh, Prussia and Germany aren't all that different. And then he's like, and Austria's like, see? And it's like, Prussia's uniform and Germany's uniform are nice and neatly folded, and then Austria and Italy's clothes are all over the floor. So yeah, Prussia's like super, super neat and tidy. So when you play The Sims, like, make sure you make Prussia like cleanly. Never mind. So next we're gonna talk about, is Prussia dying? Yes, unfortunately. So quote from Hetalia himself: "He will be alive for a while, but if he disappears, he would be happy knowing that his younger brother has inherited all of his knowledge and awesomeness." Wow. So there's a part in a strip. What? Yeah, I know. I thought you said I had a question. Like, yeah, it's really sad. Like, so many sad fan fictions to write. There's this part where like Prussia, I might have it, I don't know. Prussia gets bitten by a dog. Is there like a picture of the dog? Yeah, Prussia is bitten by the dog, and he's like, oh yeah, the dog I got bit by a dog just recently. And then it shows the dog's thought bubble, and it's like, I bit him like a week ago. Prussia is not... Prussia's not healing when he gets hurt. Nations heal very quickly. Prussia is taking, as we see, a very long time to heal. Just like Holy Rome was.
Mind blown.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like, just like Holy Rome was fading, and Holy Rome was also Prussia's little brother. So we've seen Prussia lose his younger brother, and now his younger brother is going to lose him. So that's just so happy. And Prussia isn't telling anybody that he's dying. Nobody knows that Prussia's dying except for Prussia, and of course the fandom, but that's not relevant. Next, my favorite debate: is Germany the Holy Roman Empire?
Yes.
Before we get to it, let's bring up the evidence. Germany has a flashback of, in the St. Valentine's Day strip, Germany, after proposing to Italy and has like this mental breakdown that's a lot like that episode of SpongeBob. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got you.
He has a flashback of Hetalia. Germany never saw Hetalia himself. Keep that in mind. Italy says, Germany, please say something, and this is what happens. First of all, they look the same. They have like the same sideburns and everything. Like, this is teenage Holy Roman Empire. You can argue that the art style is like just too simplistic for them to look different, but that's literally the same person. Again, Holy Rome is Prussia's little brother. They act the same. There's this meeting where Holy Rome is like, we can't have a meeting if every one of you only repeats his own opinion and doesn't listen to others. From now on, you will start at your designated time. That sounds an awfully lot like Germany, who's like, 8 minutes each for speeches and absolutely no going over the time limit. Raise your hand in a way that does not mock a salute to my country's past. And it'll we all know how that goes. They're both Germanic, of course. They're both related to Germania, Prussia, all the others. Explains why Germany, in the anime at least, was so obsessed with the Roman Empire, because Holy Rome's whole thing was like, Italy, you must join with me so we can become the Roman Empire once again. And Italy was like, that's a bad idea. I like to do voices, guys. Blah blah blah. So I got this off of this wonderful Tumblr called Hetafax. You should look it up. The too long didn't read version is they share the same body, the same personality traits, but not the same memories and are not the same person, technically. Because in the newest season, actually, which I was so happy about, oh my gosh, I've waited for like 8 years, like 5 years for this. That's a long time though. It shows all of the German states, like Brandenburg, Saxony, all of them, getting together and like clumping together, and Germany, as a small child, is there. Also, this evidence from the Himaruya stuff, when countries are born as babies, they are babies. But Germany was never a baby because he had a pre-existing body. Creepy! And Prussia is the one who pieced him back together because he was the head of the German Confederation after they kicked out Austria. So salty about that, Prussia. HRE died, and Prussia, quote, rounded up the existing pieces of him, and the German Confederation is created, and they revive Holy Rome as a new person, what we know today as modern Germany. And then the last point on the outline is Prussia has seen some crazy things, Full Metal Alchemist style. And it's true because, like, Prussia, like, just if you've seen Full Metal Alchemist, if you haven't, I don't know what you've been doing. Prussia literally does the same thing Ed does, and he's like, I just want my brother back! And attaches his soul to a body that died. So, like, Prussia and Germany are just Ed and Alphonse. We have 10 minutes. Next is questions about history, about anything I talked about. Yes, Germany.
Would CSA already have been an actual character because CSA was a full country at the time? But then they Claiborne got run over.
You'll have to talk to Himaruya about that, not me. But yes, you're right. Excellent point. Germany knows lots about history, guys. Go talk to him. Yes, next question. Are there any questions? Yes.
Well, I was just wondering, have they ever established what happens when one country divides into two countries like Vietnam or Korea?
No, they have not. He has never talked about that. Which is another, which again, like the whole Berlin Wall thing, we don't know. Like, is Germany becoming two different people? We don't know. There's not characters for them. People create characters for them, but they're not official. Yes, I saw you.
My question is, do you think they're ever going to address Prussia's death in the anime? And if they do, what do you think Germany might do?
I don't know if y'all have been keeping up with season 6. It's come out in sub, it's not dubbed yet. But I don't know if you know the story of Davy. It is my time. I have risen. Davy is talked about in season 6. There's no dialogue in this episode. Besides America going, Davy! There's no dialogue. But that is like the saddest thing. When sad things happen in Hetalia, like the Joan of Arc thing, they stab you in the heart!
Yeah.
It's either hilarious or you're dead. There's no in between. Bye, Prussia! Thank you for coming. Whatever. I think if they do get to that, it'll be like in season 10. Wow. And I think that the timeline will just continue on, and Prussia will continue to make appearances, but we know that this happens eventually, because nothing is in order in Italia, and I think that Germany will be, like, super, like, about it, and then we'll see him, like, crying. Yes, Italy.
Why is Italy both, the whole country of Italy, both Romano and Italy?
They two were always governed separately. There was always northern Italy, and then there was like the Papal States and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. They've always been separate, and the culture is very different. Even their language is slightly different. If the further south you go in Italy, the language is like combination Italian, Spanish, and Etruscan, which is like the ancient people who live there. And so that's different from like northern Italian. So they're very different cultures, very different personalities, if you will. So that's why they're two separate countries, even though they're one country. Yes?
How did Holy Roman Empire become Germany?
Holy Rome died after the 100 Years, or in the 100 Years War. I think that's the right war. I don't know. France killed him. Thanks, France. So like, the Holy Rome is dead. Germany has to round up all of the existing parts, which are the German states, like Saxony and Bavaria, and where my friend Leo is from, Baden-Württemberg. Rounds them all up and is like, we're going to try this again. Pieces them together. It doesn't specifically say how, because Maria just didn't do it. Maybe he doesn't even know. And just pieces them together, and Germany, as a small child, is formed. Germany was never a baby. Holy Rome was, but I hope that answers your question. Yes, one more.
If Sweden was first there and the one with the native tribes,
Mhm.
I didn't know what tribe he was referring to. Wouldn't that mean America would be much older than what he's portrayed when Britain comes over?
Well, America was always ages varying, because sometimes countries age very quickly and sometimes they don't age at all. Like Liechtenstein and Sealand have been around for a long time. Liechtenstein's much longer, but they're still children. And Latvia is a very, very old culture and a very old ethnic group of people, but he's still a child. America was very dependent on power source. So when England found him and was like, hey, we're going to colonize you, and gave him all of this Western power, suddenly he was able to become much more powerful. If that helps you out. If you have more questions for me, let me know afterwards. Next is, yeah, that fan art is from CTC Sherry. Go check her out. And the next is, take a picture of this if you want to find me on Tumblr or Facebook. My Facebook, I'm the head of Friends of Wales Cosplay. We're from Springfield, Missouri. Woo! If you want to read my really sappy Pruos fanfic, it's on AO3. I'm APH Gatekeeper there. Yeah, so just take a picture of that, or ask me later. Come get my number or something. I don't know. Actually, I'm not just gonna give. I probably will. Who am I kidding? Am I saying anything? What time is it?
You got 5.
I have 5 minutes, so I probably need to go. But other questions? Yes.
Can we all take a group picture with the Italian people?
Yes. After the panel's over, all the Hetalia people be in the hallway. We'll get a nice picture.
Yeah.
There was another question that I missed. Yes.
In the picture, the comment that you showed of Prussia being bitten by the dog, if I'm mistaken, is that rooted in Finland's dog, Hana?
Yeah, I think it is. What was Prussia doing to that dog, or is that just like a really angry dog? I mean, Prussia's likes animals, so I can't imagine him being mean. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for sitting through this. I hope you learned something. I hope all of you youngins out there. Yes. I hope all you youngins out there learned how to be better fandom members in this mess of a show that we all love. And thank you.
Turn this off. No, turn this off for me.